What if your tiredness, your hunger, and your sugar cravings have nothing to do with willpower at all? Picture this for a second. You sleep 8 hours, you wake up, and you're already exhausted. You eat breakfast. An hour later, you're hungry again. You make it through the afternoon on coffee and willpower, and by 4 p.m. your brain feels like it's wading through fog. By dinner, you're reaching for something sweet, telling yourself it's just a treat, when really your body is begging for stability. Most people blame stress, or age, or a busy schedule. Almost nobody blames their blood sugar. But here's what most people don't know. Blood sugar problems don't announce themselves. They don't show up overnight with a warning label. They build slowly, quietly, in the background of an ordinary life. A little more fatigue here, a little more craving there. A few extra pounds that seem to appear out of nowhere. By the time most people notice, the pattern has already been running for years. Here's the part that should give you hope instead of fear. You don't need a prescription to start fighting back. You don't need a complicated diet plan. You need to know which foods are quietly working for you and which ones have been working against you the entire time. Today we're counting down 7 of them. Foods doctors and nutrition researchers keep coming back to again and again when the subject of blood sugar comes up. And stick around, because the 7th one is sitting in almost every kitchen in America right now, and most people have absolutely no idea what it's capable of. Let's start with the food everyone assumes is off limits: blueberries. Say the word fruit to someone watching their blood sugar, and you'll usually get a wince. Sugar, right? Stay away. Except blueberries don't quite play by the rules. Inside that deep blue skin are compounds called anthocyanins, the same pigments that give blueberries their color. Researchers have spent years studying them, and a number of studies suggest anthocyanins may support healthier insulin response and glucose metabolism. Pair that with their fiber content, which slows down how quickly sugar hits your bloodstream, and you get something rare. A sweet food that may not send you on the roller coaster everyone's used to. Compare that to a donut. Up fast, down faster, hungry again within the hour. Blueberries don't erase that pattern by themselves, but for a lot of people, they quietly break it. Next up is a food people avoided for decades, for the wrong reason: avocados. There was a time when fat was the enemy. Avocados got lumped in with foods people were told to fear. Turns out that was a mistake. Avocados are loaded with monounsaturated fat and fiber, and that combination does something carbohydrates alone can't do. It slows digestion down. Instead of a flood of glucose hitting your bloodstream all at once, it trickles in. That slower release means something most people underestimate: satisfaction. Real, lasting satisfaction. Not the kind that disappears 40 minutes after a sugary breakfast, but the kind that gets you through the morning without circling back to the kitchen. And craving control might matter more than anything else on this list, because most people don't struggle with blood sugar because they lack discipline. They struggle because their bodies never feel satisfied to begin with. Now here's a food that spent years on the foods to avoid list, and shouldn't have: eggs. For a long time, eggs had a reputation problem. Today, most nutrition experts see them completely differently, as one of the most nutrient-dense foods you can put on a plate. The reason comes down to protein. High-quality protein slows digestion and helps regulate appetite. And some research on high-protein breakfasts suggests the effects can last for hours, not minutes. Think about 2 mornings. One starts with cereal and ends with a 10 a.m. crash. The other starts with eggs, and somehow makes it to lunch without a single craving. Same person, same morning. Completely different blood sugar story. The next food hides something most people have never heard of: broccoli. Everyone knows broccoli is healthy, almost nobody knows why. Buried inside it is a compound called sulforaphane, and it's become one of the more closely studied plant compounds in metabolic research over the past decade. Scientists are still working out exactly how it interacts with glucose regulation, but the early interest alone says something. Broccoli also solves a problem most diets ignore completely: volume. You can eat a genuinely large plate of it without the calorie load that comes with most filling foods. And when you're not hungry, you're not reaching for the pantry at 9 p.m. Now we're getting into foods that double as some of the best things you can do for your heart. Salmon. As people get older, blood sugar stops being the only thing worth watching. Heart health moves into the spotlight too, and salmon happens to support both. It delivers complete protein alongside omega-3 fatty acids, fats that have been studied extensively for cardiovascular health, and that also appear to play a supporting role in overall metabolic function. Most people think managing blood sugar is only about cutting sugar out. It isn't. It's about giving your body protein, healthy fat, and fiber working together. And salmon checks more than one of those boxes at once. This next one is probably already in your pantry, and most people walk right past it without a second thought. Nuts. Almonds, walnuts, pistachios. Small, unremarkable, easy to ignore. But they're carrying healthy fat, protein, fiber, and minerals in a package you can throw in a bag and forget about until you need it. And that convenience matters more than people give it credit for, because when a craving hits at 3 p.m., nobody reaches for a balanced meal. They reach for whatever's closest. If what's closest is a handful of almonds instead of a vending machine candy bar, the entire trajectory of that afternoon changes. And now, the seventh food. The one sitting quietly in almost every kitchen, doing more than anyone realizes. Cinnamon. It sounds too simple to be real. A spice, not a superfood. But researchers have circled back to cinnamon again and again, and a number of studies suggest it may help support insulin sensitivity and healthier glucose metabolism over time. It costs almost nothing. It takes seconds to add to coffee, oatmeal, or yogurt. And unlike almost everything else on this list, there's no prep involved at all. Here's the truth. This video isn't going to dress up for you. None of these 7 foods are magic. Not blueberries, not avocados, not cinnamon, not anything sitting in your cabinet right now. What actually moves the needle is what you do with them. Over and over, meal after meal, week after week, long after the motivation that brought you here today has faded. Healthy blood sugar isn't built in a single afternoon. It's built the same way the problem was built in the first place. Quietly, gradually, one ordinary choice at a time. So before your next meal, ask yourself one question. Is this helping the person I'm going to be in 5 years? Or working against them? Tell us in the comments which of these foods is already part of your routine, and which one caught you completely off guard.